people who've read my blog and my book probably know your name because I've quoted you a lot of things that you've done over the years. Your success with building teams and maybe even some slightly unconventional ways that you work as a manager.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about your success. I want you to talk about any failures that you've had. Are there times when you've tried something and it just didn't work? And if so, what might be some lessons that you learned from those?
So everybody else gets beach ball questions, and you're like fast pitching right off the bat.
Boom! I knew you could take
it. All right. So anytime that I have failed in training somebody.
Yeah. By the way, I do have a beach ball question, but it's coming up later.
All right. Well, thank you. So yes, every team that you encounter is going to be different, and everybody that you, as you get moved around and you're the new person on the team, which I was this time around, it's all about trying to gain respect with those people. Sometimes, though, when you're trying to do that, you're going to fail and step on landmines, as I like to call them. So there's times where you're talking to somebody and you're trying to, find that commonality that you two can have, and you say something you shouldn't say, and you don't realize it until after the fact. And that's what I call a conversation landmine, because at that point, anything you say is just going to go downhill from there. I think my sarcasm, which is always something I try to work on, does come across wrong. So if I don't spend some time with somebody first before I bring out that humor in me, because I use humor to diffuse a lot of situations, that has gotten me in difficult situations at times with associates. And these are people on my team, a team I need to respect me, and all of a sudden I have now offended them. In the history of any leader anywhere, we have all offended somebody in your ways. I mean, you're not in these roles without dealing with people, and when you deal with people, you're going to offend them. I doubt any leader consciously wakes up every day and says, I'm going to offend people today, and that's my goal. So that has been a challenge, because I'm not trying to offend people. I'm trying to build a relationship with them. And I really think it's the sarcasm. It's a second language to me. That's the only other language I speak other than bad English. And that's been my struggle, and that's what I continue to struggle with. But it's something I'm aware of.
How did you become aware of that? Like, was there a specific point where you said, ooh, I got to pull this back?
So, yes. Now, that probably started when I offended my first guest. And it was something I did not mean to do, obviously. Back at Earthquake and the Magic of Effects, we're up there and I was spieling for the attraction, and the attraction goes down. Now, when you're in a spieling attraction and the ride goes down, we all know that there's a stall clock comes up, or you're being told over an earpiece, this is how long it's going to take, stretch your material out. At a certain point, you start running out of material. And when you're just freeballing and you've got stuff coming off the top of your head, I was talking about the blue screen and the blue screen effects. And there happened to be a blue screen behind me. And I said, well, it's just like a weatherman. When a weatherman or person is standing in front of a blue screen, they don't actually see a map behind them. They just see the blue screen. So if it wasn't for the monitors off to the side that they would look at to see what is happening behind them, they would just be waving their arms behind them looking retarded. Well, the word retarded at that point was a normal part of my speech. And that then there was somebody apparently in the audience that took offense to that and walked from one side of the park all the way to guest relations at the front of the park, and that was my first negative guest comment. From then on, I've started becoming aware of my speech and what things I say. There are times I have offended, like I said, associates just by a joke. I would come up to them and say something, and they'd be like, oh, man, why did you say that to me? So pretty early on, it started with Universal. Once you spend with those demographics and those groups of people, and you're trying to build those teams, that's when, as a leader, you have to be conscious of what you say until you build that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I don't think I'd heard that story before, but really does go to show, you have to be conscious of what you're saying and really your audience, who will appreciate it and who might get offended.
I have a drink.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of LeaderTips Q&A. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when new episodes come out. If you have a question for me, or if you'd have a question that you'd like to see addressed on a future episode, go ahead and put it in the comments. Thanks for watching.